Do aliens exist and are they among us? Are weird creatures lurking in the darkness? Do evil entities hide in the shadows of your bedroom while you sleep? Join us as we explore all this and more on the Warped Reality Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, all you crazy ghost enthusiasts out there? It's your boy, Ghost Joe. Welcome to episode 16 of the Warped Reality Podcast. I have a great show planned for you guys tonight with some great news. I can't wait to share that with you, so that's going to be first. But I just wanted to congratulate my Warped Reality Podcast for making it to episode 16. It could finally, get its learner's permit and some places drive. So I'm very excited about that. And in some countries, it's even legal for my podcast to drink now. So let's give it a round of applause. Thank you, everybody. I really hope that, the people who have been listening really enjoy my content. If you do, please shoot me an email. If you don't, shoot me an email also and let me know. You could curse me out. I'm a correctional officer. I got thick skin. GhostJoeNY@gmail.com. Again, that's GhostJoeNY is in New York @gmail.com. So the first piece of news that I wanted to share with you guys, I am extremely excited about, is that I will be teaming up and collaborating with Mr. Chris Whitehouse and his Whitehouse Investigations team all the way from the UK to bring you guys some awesome paranormal content from around the globe. His investigation team is awesome. They've been around for a very long time. They do investigations on haunted areas and helping people out. And if you go to their social media sites and their YouTube page, you'll also see that they do a lot of things as far as teaching people the correct way of doing certain things as far as using the Ouija board and how to get started into ghost hunting and so on and so forth. So check out all their social media stuff. You're going to love it. And I can't wait to work with these guys. The sky's the limit now. I also have some other surprises down the line. Hopefully that pans out. And I'll let you guys know as soon as possible, either on one of my shows or my TikTok. So check out Ghost Joe on TikTok also, and you'll see some cool stuff there as well. But right now, I actually have an audio introduction from Chris Whitehouse about himself and his group. So check it out. You're going to love it.
Hello, I'm Chris Whitehouse, founder of Whitehouse Investigations. We're a team based in the UK, somewhere near the areas which gave the world the literary giants, the Bronte sisters, but also gave us the Pendle Witch Trials. We've been ghost hunting for maybe a decade now. I can say that we have one ghost in particular who is actually ghost hunting us. Now, we are pretty much a sceptical bunch on the whole, but recently we seem to open a lid on something we've not been able to close again, which is a good and bad thing, I suppose. We investigated a place in York. We had a two-night deal there, and we performed a spirit rescue, helping a spirit woman and daughter leave the clutches of an antagonising male entity called Sam. We were astonished with the activity we got at this house, and then for many investigations after, he turned up afresh to basically attack us anew wherever we went. So that was the first time I found that a spirit would come through any board, no matter where we were. And that was very eye-opening. And Sam's been bittersweet, really. He threatened us for a long time and then turned really compliant. And yet we're gearing up to go back to his house. And I just can't help but thinking we're walking into a trap. He's strongest at his house. In 10 years, we'd been like nearly 9 or 10 years, we'd not had activity like his, and it was setting a new bar of what was possible. So we came away from that a little bit like, wow, we actually are out of our depth. And that's what made us go and ask other spirits for help, really. And then he pops up saying, yep, I'm also here. So it's disconcerting that he's trying to be nice. Is he to be trusted? Probably not, because of the spirit rescue. we shall see. We're going there soon, and yeah, there was things like on the first night. I wasn't there the first night, but my teammates were there, and there was a guitar on the wall, and apparently it strummed while they were investigating, and a candle in a candle holder just fell off the table. And I know they were unnerved. They've been doing this years, and I've never even heard of them ringing me up and saying we couldn't really sleep there last night. We had to walk the streets rather than be in there. And that was night one. I arrive on night two with a skeptical head on, like these girls had just, got themselves in a giddy fit and wound each other up. But no, as soon as I walked in, I didn't like the place, and I have zero psychic ability. It just fell off. And within moments of starting to investigate myself, I supposedly held my hand out to a spirit and felt a cold grasp my hand. And it was a hot summer that year. So I was like, well, that was pretty staggering alone. And then noises on cue in the fireplace, bangs on the window when I asked for activity. It seemed like whenever you asked for something, you got it. And just then the threats coming through the board itself, how he was going to suffocate us in his sleep. And the girls were talking about sleeping there a second night, but they were so tired from walking the streets that they wanted to stay awake and not be asleep, but they knew they would succumb to sleep and therefore be open to a danger. And they insisted that they came away without sleeping that second night. So, yeah, that was the first time we ever ran away from an investigation, essentially. Didn't finish it in a confident manner. So, we're eager to go back. And we'll see what happens. But hopefully, you guys will have a benefit of us tuning into the program now and again, sending some behind the scenes of what we're doing. And if you'd like to check out our work, then please search like Whitehouse Investigations on like Instagram and TikTok. My older investigations are on www.whitehouseinvestigations.co.uk, and my YouTube page is up and running, and I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Please take a look, see what you think, and yeah. So thankfully, Joe at Warped Paranormal Podcast has joined forces with us, allowing us to share some of our paranormal stories from this side of the waters. So I look forward to speaking to you guys again. Thanks so much.
So what do you guys think? You think we should give him a shot? I think so. Very, very nice guy, Chris. I can't wait to meet the rest of his team and to really get things started and get things going as far as bringing you guys the best paranormal content anywhere else. So please stay tuned for that. The first thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is the Grafton Monster. Have you guys ever heard of this? This is the first time I've actually ever heard of the Grafton Monster, but it is a cryptid. It was first spotted in Taylor County, West Virginia in 1964 by a man named Robert Cockrell, who was driving down Yates Avenue late at night. After turning a curve, there in the middle of the road was the Grafton Monster, described as being 7 to 9 feet tall and 4 feet wide. That is a big boy. With white seal-like skin, with no possible identifying head. He didn't actually see a head. Some people said they see it, and it's kind of sunken in a little bit. But he said he didn't really recognize any head on this thing. He is said to emit a whistling sound as well. Upon seeing this beast, Robert went to get his two friends of his and raced back there. Unfortunately, the monster had gone, but there was noticeable tracks in the ground under which the monster was. He was planning on keeping the sighting to himself until he had learned that over 20 calls had come in of people seeing the same described creature. Unfortunately, no physical evidence has ever been found. Some others speculated that it could be an alien, an interdimensional traveler, or a person pushing a handcart with white boxes stacked up high. So what do you guys think? Do you have any explanation of this, or have you heard of the Grafton Monster? Have you had an experience of the Grafton Monster? Let me know. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is kind of science-oriented. Well, it is science-oriented. And, it could be paranormal as well, because paranormal is underneath, there's a lot of things underneath that paranormal umbrella. So right now, I'd like to talk to you about that scientists have recently discovered a super Earth that is 4 times the size of the Earth's mass. It only takes 10.8 days to complete 1 year. So that's going to be a lot of birthdays. That's pretty cool. A lot of birthday presents. The planet is called Ross 508b. I feel bad for him in school. And it's approximately 37 light years away from us. So just to give you guys a little bit of an example, 1 light year is 6 trillion miles or 10 million kilometers away. Basically, it can take around 10 years to get there one way. It's pretty amazing, though, because it has the ability to have water and can very well inhabit life. It even revolves around a red dwarf star, just like our Earth revolves around the sun. So you never know, guys. This thing could actually be inhabiting life on there, whether it's, people like us, more intelligent beings out there, or just plain, bacteria and micro whatever you call it. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Science is awesome. So now it's time for one of my favorite segments. I read it on Reddit. This one's kind of a long one, but you're going to like this one, I promise. It's called My College Ouija Board Experience. This will probably be a long story, but I'll never forget it as long as I live. I also didn't believe in anything paranormal or outside the realm of science until this happened. I still just don't know what to make of it, to be honest, and I would love to hear what people think might have been going on. ghostjoeny@gmail.com. So my freshman year of college, I moved into a dorm in a very old historic building in Florida. It was 2020 and COVID was still really bad, so each student had their own room. I quickly made friends with the girl who lived directly next door, Gracie, and a girl on the 3rd floor, Bailey. Only on the first or second night, we got to talking about ghosts and spiritual stuff. As we all realized, we were very into the occult and whatnot. The 3rd floor girl, Bailey, suggested that we make and play a Ouija board. Bad idea. I had tried, oh, by the way, if you want to know how to do the Ouija board, check out Chris Whitehouse on the Whitehouse Investigations group on YouTube. I had tried one before at sleepovers, and it had never worked, but I was interested, and it was a super old building that was supposedly haunted, so we gave it a shot. We made the board out of cardboard, and that was the first of many nights of using this thing. It worked every single time without fail, no matter what combination of people had their hands on the planchette. We eventually got a store-bought board. No change occurred. We used this board probably every day. It became like an obsession. It's all we would talk about. I'm still not sure if it was because the thought of speaking to someone otherworldly was exciting or if something else was going on. I could tell so many little stories, but I'll try and sum up the most important stuff. We knew it was legit the first night we played. We were quickly introduced to the entity on the other side. It went by shove, most of the time, but occasionally by solo or SO. I don't think we spoke to anyone but them the entire time. We tested it by asking the name of another friend we'd recently made stepmom. It guessed correctly immediately, without her having her hands on the board. We had just met her. There is no way we could have known this. On the second or third night, we asked Shove to give us a sign that they were really there. We heard a noise at the closed door to my room and looked over to see a shadow outside of it, as if someone was standing right outside the door. We opened it, and of course no one was there. We closed it, and the shadow was gone. Little things happened over the course of the semester. Things would be moved that I couldn't explain. The sink in the bathroom down the hall would turn off and on by itself when nobody was around. Stuff like that. After a few weeks of this, things really started to get weird. One night, I was playing the board with Bailey's boyfriend and Grace. Bailey was laying with her head in her boyfriend's lap. Not touching the board. Suddenly, she started panicking and hyperventilating. We thought it must have been a random panic attack or something, but she claimed she was unable to control where her eyes were looking. We went to take her out of the building because she was so freaked out. And in the lobby, she swore she saw someone out of the corner of her eye. Saw that no one was there and bolted out the front doors, terrified. Shove really seemed to turn on Bailey for whatever reason. On another night, not long after that one, the three of us original girls were playing the board, and Bailey told us her back was really hurting. She asked us to look and see if she had any really bad sunburn on her lower back. Strange, but that's what she said it felt like. There was a ton of fresh scratches on her lower back when we looked. This was scary because she was not leaning on anything and had both hands on the board. I can attach a picture of the scratches if anyone is interested. Around this time of the events, Bailey started to act really strange. For the first months I knew her, she was always very calm and down to earth, but she began acting extremely short-tempered and possessive and jealous. Now, this is where I'm not sure what to think. Was it a mental health crisis, or were our nightly activities causing side effects? I'm not sure I'll ever know, but I remember Bailey screaming at me and stomping up the stairs to her room and being so shocked it was so out of character. During a fight with her boyfriend, she ripped her hair out and slammed her head on the floor. And then after a week or so, she was involuntarily institutionalized after telling her therapist that she was going to take her life. This was obviously very upsetting for Grace and me, and then Grace had begun having suicidal thoughts. I'm not sure if this started before or after Bailey left. And then one morning, I woke up and checked my phone, and Grace had gone to the hospital earlier that morning because she woke up and couldn't breathe. Sorry about that. I couldn't breathe for a second. It ended up being some tonsil issue, I believe, but the timing was weird. Both Grace and Bailey ended up dropping out of college for mental health reasons. I spent the rest of the semester and the one after in that room and never had any serious issues. I had a roommate the second semester of that year, and she didn't have any issues either. I played the board every once in a while to show curious friends the ghost that lived in my room. Shove was always there, but did nothing more than respond on the board. I'm still very much in touch with Grace and Bailey. Bailey completely returned to her old self not long after dropping out, whether this was due to the removal of stress college work or being away from that building for good. Was she possessed? Who was Shove? Was Shove even real, or did we just make him up because we desperately wanted to believe something else was out there? I'll probably never get any answers, but I guess at least I have a good story to tell at parties. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you do not mess with Ouija boards. Okay? Unless you know how to do that. Again, I've talked to a few demonologists, and they swear that there's really nothing wrong with a Ouija board as long as you know how to use it. So get some education. Go on the Whitehouse Investigation group, YouTube, and check it out. All right, everybody. Now on to Haunted eBay. So today on Haunted eBay, the item I'd like to talk to you guys about is entitled Green Doll, Voodoo Doll. It kind of looks like a cheap Grinch knockoff doll. The starting bid is $25, but you can buy this wonderful doll for $150 for the buy it now price. Here is the long description. Warning, do not purchase as a joke. This item has a demon attached to it. I am a photographer from Oregon. Last year in the summer, I went on a trip to South Africa for photography. There was a very sweet but odd family that allowed me to do a photo shoot of them and their home. I saw this weird doll on their table next to some poquitos and thought it was hilarious, especially because it had English writing on it. One of the children picked it up and handed it to me, and the family allowed me to keep it. I'm like 99% sure it's supposed to be the Grinch. Living in Oregon, I met a lot of witches throughout my life, and I have done a lot of paranormal investigating. I've visited many haunted houses. I've done a lot of spirit box sessions. I've used EMF detectors, and I have even dabbed with a Ouija board. Still, never have I thought my South Africa trip would lead to my home becoming what feels like Satan's shelter. For the past year, I've been woken up to shrieks, banging, glass breaking, laughing, growls, scratching, and I've even had my bed viciously shake once. A couple of times there was a man in a fedora standing next to my bed as I woke up, with black clothing and a black trench coat, who disappears when I jump out of bed for my gun. I've had my windows literally broken. My outdoor and indoor security cameras captured nothing but the glass breaking. I've had a lot of dishes and cups broken. I've woken up with scratches and bruises on my body. I've had my own things thrown at me when I'm not looking. All of my stuff is always reorganized, and it seems to have progressed and getting worse each week and month. It took me at least 6 months before I realized it was the doll. It seriously just looks like a stupid toy. I was certain it was a spirit that followed me home after a paranormal investigation. I later confirmed it was a doll because a friend of mine, who is a white witch, took a look at it, and when I trace back to when the scary occurrences happened, it definitely started when I got back from South Africa. After she looked at it and confirmed, I decided to throw it away. I've tried at least 10 times. I've watched the garbage people dump my garbage bins. It reappears in my home within a week, each effing time. No matter how many times I've asked my friends for an approximate value in dollars, she would keep telling me it's not for selling, but I need to get rid of it. I also want to see what happens if I send it to somebody willing to accept it. I want to keep my identity anonymous, so I am having my friends sell it on eBay for me. If you have any questions, you can message his account and I'll tell him what the answer is to your question. If you buy this, I'm going to assume you're a paranormal investigator, a witch, a priest, or somebody else who knows what they're doing. If you are just buying out of curiosity, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Good luck and beware. By the way, guys, if you happen to see this thing on eBay, I am not claiming that, you're going to get any paranormal activity if you buy this thing. This is just an entertainment section, a little segment for you guys. So buy at your own risk. So that's going to do it for episode 16 of the Warped Reality Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you have any paranormal experiences or questions or comments or anything, please email me at ghostjoeny@gmail.com. And so thanks a lot, everybody, and bye! Thank you for listening to the Warped Reality Podcast. For more episodes, guest info, social media links, merch, and more, please check out warpedrealitypodcast.com. If you have a paranormal experience you'd like to share, questions, comments, or you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can leave me a voicemail at 845-379-1331 or email me at ghostjoeny@gmail.com. You could do so anonymously if you'd like. Also, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or warpedrealitypodcast.com. Have an awesome night, everyone, and don't forget to change your shorts.